Scarborough Shoal is a small, triangular atoll in the South China Sea, just over 100 nautical miles from the Philippines' Luzon Island, well within the country's exclusive economic zone. For generations, Filipino fishermen have relied on these waters, and the shoal's lagoon offers a vital refuge during storms. Its strategic location makes it a potential military outpost, controlling key shipping lanes. China, calling it Huangyan Dao, claims the shoal as historic territory despite its nearest land being nearly 500 nautical miles away. In 2012, China seized control after a standoff, blocking Filipino fishermen and maintaining a constant presence. The Philippines challenged this at the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which ruled in 2016 that China's claims were invalid and affirmed Philippine rights. Beijing rejected the ruling, dismissing it as a piece of waste paper. The shoal now symbolizes a larger struggle, the Philippines' fight for sovereignty versus China's push for dominance. Coast Guard standoffs and fishing boat confrontations here have global implications for regional stability and the international rules-based order. The tension has simmered for years, setting the stage for a dangerous escalation. Scarborough Shoal is more than rocks and reefs, it's a flashpoint in a high-stakes geopolitical drama. The world is watching what happens next. On August 11, 2025, tensions exploded at Scarborough Shoal. A Philippine Coast Guard ship, BRP Suluan, delivering supplies to fishermen, was intercepted by Chinese vessels, including a Navy destroyer, a major escalation. In a chaotic pursuit, a Chinese Coast Guard ship collided with the destroyer, resulting in the deaths of 2 Chinese personnel and several injuries. The Philippine crew halted to offer medical aid, highlighting a stark contrast in conduct. China's official response ignored the fatal collision, instead accusing the Philippines of provocation. The incident exposed the reckless and dangerous nature of China's strategy in the South China Sea. The deadly collision sent shockwaves worldwide, prompting a swift U.S. response. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty was put to the test. The Pentagon deployed 2 U.S. Navy warships near Scarborough Shoal, a clear show of support, not direct intervention. U.S. officials reaffirmed that any attack on Philippine forces, including the Coast Guard, would trigger mutual defense commitments. This closed loopholes China might exploit with gray zone tactics. China responded by deploying fighter jets and shadowing U.S. warships, creating a tense standoff. The U.S. presence aimed to deter further aggression and reassure the Philippines. Washington's message, the cost of Chinese escalation would be high. The world watched as 3 navies operated in close quarters, raising the stakes. The crisis underscored the risks of unchecked aggression in the South China Sea. The August 2025 collision was the result of China's long-running gray zone strategy. Instead of open warfare, China uses its Coast Guard and maritime militia to harass and intimidate, staying below the threshold of war. Tactics include water cannons, lasers, ramming, and dangerous blockades, making it perilous for the Philippines to operate in its own waters. China has also built artificial islands, turning reefs into military outposts to project power across the region. The goal: establish de facto control and make its claims irreversible. This constant friction is meant to wear down neighbors and force acceptance of Chinese dominance, but the 2025 incident showed how easily gray zone tactics can spiral into deadly conflict. The line between harassment and open war is dangerously thin. The Philippines' firm response is rooted in President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s foreign policy shift. Unlike his predecessor's appeasement, Marcos Jr. has revitalized the U.S. alliance and taken a hard line on sovereignty. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement now gives the U.S. access to 9 Philippine bases, many near flashpoints. Manila's new strategy includes assertive transparency, embedding journalists on patrols and publicizing Chinese aggression. This has rallied international support and countered Beijing's narrative. The military's archipelagic defense concept prioritizes external threats and modernizes naval capabilities. Marcos Jr. has vowed not to yield a single square inch of territory. The Philippines is now on a direct collision course with China's expansionist ambitions. This pivot has fundamentally changed the dynamics in the South China Sea. Manila's resolve is clear, and the world is taking notice. Facing China's challenge, the Philippines is building a coalition of like-minded nations. Security partnerships with the US, Australia, and Japan have deepened, with joint exercises and patrols now routine. Japan has provided patrol boats, and Australia's warships regularly sail alongside Philippine and US vessels. This minilateralism creates a flexible, resilient web of cooperation. The sight of Allied forces training together sends a strong message to Beijing. President Marcos Jr. has also rallied support at ASEAN and global forums, reframing the dispute as a fight for international law. Even divided, ASEAN has seen Manila draw support from Vietnam and Europe. The coalition effort frames the South China Sea as a global concern, not just a bilateral dispute. Scarborough Shoal's fate has global consequences. The conflict tests whether international law can stand up to major power aggression. For Filipinos, it's about food security, sovereignty, and national pride. For the world, it's about freedom of navigation. 1/3 of global shipping passes through these waters. If China controls the South China Sea, it could disrupt global trade and set a precedent for force over law. The US and its allies' operations are about keeping sea lanes open for all. The showdown is a microcosm of the broader US-China rivalry. The outcome will shape the future of peace, stability, and freedom worldwide.